got lots of love, love.
you know, you get an insight and you know something, you know, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and it'll spoil the whole thing for you, you know. But when somebody makes you say it, then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.
New season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off, it's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through him. It's just gonna solidify everything for Mythos.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Laura, is he gonna be able to find these shots true?
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes the Nanoblade, immediately goes back there, finds, steals, slicing and dicing their way through 2-3, so back and forth.
Alrighty, blink and you miss it. We're back again, once again here with some more CGL action coming your way. This time, we're going on down to the Masters tier here in the EU region. It's still me, Megalast. I still got Spectrum by my side. And you ready to get into this one?
Yeah, this game is one with a lot of playoff implications, isn't it, Legolas? I mean, obviously bad Catlients, previously known as Queen's Gambit, have been finding plenty of success so far. They're 6-0 so far. They will have no real issues going into that playoffs. The only thing they've really got to worry about is seeding. You know, whether they get maybe a second or a third place finish is kind of the extent of their worries. Tesla, though, I believe currently 3-3. That's a little bit more interesting because, as we said, we believe that for EU Masters, only 4 teams can make it through into that postseason. So, very much a possibility here. If Tesla lose this game, then they will not be making it all the way to the mid-season tournament. That's high stakes to put on their shoulders here. They're going to have to see if they can perform under all the bright lights.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolutely massive ask for them to sort of sort out and figure out. And, you know, when you're in these high-pressure games, obviously the pressure's on, but to go up against a team like Queen's Gambit, right, like you talked about, 6-0 currently, the only time they've lost was in that mid-season final, going up against 07, so this is a team that, you know, they're very comfortable. They know what they want to play. They've come into every match. They've been pretty dominant, but we will just have to wait and see if Tesla can step up to it, but getting a look at our lovely rosters here, starting with the Bad Cats over here, you have... I don't remember if the player was originally named Meow or if it's a rename, but I think it fits with the name here. Then we have Fleek Death, Storm, Widowfire, and Vincino all being on this team. Just a really, really solid roster across the board.
If memory serves, wasn't Widowfire on tank for the previous games? I seem to remember that.
I want to say
yeah. So some off-roading going on here. See if that affects their performance at all, of course, into their opponents of Tesla. See what we got to work with here. Ultimix Chris for 807. Tom M. Knight. Tommy Knight, rather, sorry, my mistake. Scarlet Snow and Astral going to be coming out here. First time Tesla's been on stream. They've had a fairly average season so far, as we've heard. See if they can punch above their weight class here and steal the series away from their opposition here. And these are the 5 players who have to try and do it.
Exactly, you know, it's always one of those situations, right, where the stage lights, are they going to be blinding or are they going to feel warm and inviting here? So hopefully Tesla can rise to the occasion, but in order for us to know if they can, we have to set the scene. We have to see what maps we are heading to. Week 7, standard map pool here. We've got Nepal into Midtown, some Throne of Anubis in New Junk City waiting us on the other half, and then you have Shambali Monastery looming if we can get that 5-map gigabanger we're always looking for. But you know, starting off on the Paul spec, I mean, do we think these teams are going to do anything out of the ordinary?
No. I can't think of any good reason to really go away from it. Unless you're super, super locked into playing like some sort of like Doom monkey comp, you might as well just continue to play the basic. It works, it's good. There's a reason it's kind of played everywhere. So I would kind of expect just to see that continue.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, and to be fair, the basic we're talking about here, it's standard Orisa meta. You got to break Juno backline. You know, let's give this team some credit, though. Formerly known as Queen's Gambit for a reason. Bad Cats, they love that Junker Queen composition here. So, especially when you're working with Masters, maybe the skill cap of every player is just a little bit lower than your average, what you would expect. You know, it could create opportunities for those off meta compositions to really shine, right? And it would be fun to see the Junker Queen, but you know, if our series earlier was any indicator, I think the double speed boost from the backline needs to be stay far away.
It requires a very high level of IGLing to find value with, and in the meantime, you could just play something that plays itself a little bit more. So I'm not saying it's an instant loss, because it isn't, but it's really, really hard. And you need to have a very valid reason for making life harder for yourself, you know? Like, so I'm not sure maybe the results that you'll get from that is particularly correlates to the amount of effort you have to put in to get those results. So I would stay away from it. Yes, I'm not saying it's instant lose though.
Hey, listen, as long as nobody's instantly losing out here, it'll be a good match. That's what we're hoping for. But yeah, I mean, just across this series, we should be looking at sort of, again, it's sort of all been told already. Bad Cats, they're just sort of chilling, coasting, ready to go through another match. Whereas Tesla, you know, potentially their season could be on the line with this series. So having to go up against an opponent like this is scary, but they haven't beaten once before. Like we said, that midseason final, they did lose to 07. So hopefully they studied that VOD and they learned what they needed to go up against the Bad Cats.
Yep, so we'll see if that education is going to come in useful here. Of course, Nepal start, as we've seen before. This time, Shrine going to be where we're starting first. And in terms of what we're seeing hovered in Spawn, the Ram double flex port, that's mirrored, but there are some changes. The sim on Meow implies they're going to TP out go Genji, Pharah, Tracer. Here, the Pharah is probably going to be the best. Allows you just get some extra spam in, disrupts the poke. Fleets prefers the Cassidy, I prefer the Ashe, but they both work pretty similar. Tesla with the Ana, with the Mei, look to play around their cooldowns more. Bad Catlients looking to play more around taking angles with the Kiriko, kind of enabling that, playing for that raw Kiriko damage. And Meow on the Genji to take a more brawly style of play. This is going to be very, very interesting here. Watch your Widowfire and Meow kind of setting up on that left side here, I would assume. Whereas Tesla more trying to just like punch a hole through main.
Exactly, Widowfire is going to have a large task with where this Suzu gets delivered. Meanwhile, point presence is already established, and Widowfire actually being the first pick here, removing the Ashe from the equation. Now with a beautiful anti-nade, though, is going to stop the Catlients for a moment, but it seems like it is just this back and forth now, brawling on the point here. A bit of a situation, but it seems like the Bad Cats, with the help of Vincino and Meow, are going to be able to clean this one up.
Yeah, lovely play from them. Very, very quickly, of course, going in their favor. Widowfire finding an opening kill like that is humongous value. And the Bad Catlients are able to just simply convert off of finding a big one to start things off. An ult advantage, of course, in their favor. That fight was so fast that nobody's really towards much of anything. So we're going to have another dry fight. This time, Bad Catlients have all the setup they could ever want.
All the setup they could ever need. Now you're seeing Dynamite just to clear angles here, being a little bit safe. This Genji in so incredibly deep. Massive anti-nade, and then the slow field is going to be the thing that ultimately takes Astro out, while Meow is able to live from that encounter here. Now able to go back in, remove Chris from the fight before being taken out themselves. You have a 3v3 on point, but this Ramattra so incredibly low, cannot stand up to the Kiri here, so now it is just clean up picks coming through from the side of Bad Cats.
Second neutral fight won through by Bad Catlients, and now they're getting closer and closer to these ultimates. Again, these fights have been a little bit shorter. No one's really had a chance to get crazy close, but in this next fight, we should be seeing pretty much everything come over the horizon. Vincio fleets a little bit slower towards the checkmates. Everybody else around 80. And Tesla, the same could be said even further behind. There's a chance they don't get proper ults in this round, Megalas.
There is a potential if we keep seeing this pressure being delivered, but they are now taking over control of this left side of the map, right? Beautiful Dynamite placed in, going to make a little bit hesitant for the defense to get aggressive here. Now with an anti onto Storm, but that Ramattra simply running forward, knowing they have Annihilation, is able to clean up some picks. Now Meow getting their hands dirty. A nice deflect on the Dynamite as Scarlet is caught out here, and it seems like it's going to be Tesla regrouping for one final fight.
But it's not going to be a fantastic fight. It was going to be 5 ults online for Catlients, and Tesla, they'll have 4, but not having that Bob makes it a little bit harder. Defensive positioning. Bad Catlients can press every Q bar, so be relatively confident they're going to win this out here.
Yes, indeed, as you're seeing, the Nano Boost going to be a first thing, and now the Annihilations are trading back and forth, but it will be supports that are missing. No, a beautiful Sleep Dart means that Meow is going to get that pick here. A little bit worse for where is the rest of the team, though, as Tommy Knight's Annihilation has been going to town, putting in the work here. Now, as it runs out, able to remove the Juno, it is going to be a blade from Meow, trying to cut through this Ramattra, will finally take the Omnic out of the fight. Juno trying to get there, but it's just not enough, and Meow, as the lone person standing, will secure that round.
Fantastic weather from Meow, sorry. I mean, of course, the deflect onto the Ana is clean, able to continue dominating. That blade, maybe even necessary. That Ramattra was getting plenty of work done, and Vincia was under plenty of scrutiny, but able to work out in the end. Bad Catlients hit the ground running. 100-0 here, meaning this could be a very short game if that continues through, becomes a common theme of the series. And Tesla, maybe we need to see them make some adaptations. Kiri Lucio would be an adaptation. not what I would really like. You can help your DPS more, that's for sure, but in exchange you have very little healing for Tommy Knight. We'll see if they run out on this. It looks like they will. Only the Orisa, I guess it's better, but I'm not a crazy fan of either of these teams running this Kiri Lucio backline.
Yeah, I mean, the Kiri Lucio, at least it feels a little bit more at home with the Queen. This is what the bad Catlients like to run here, so we'll have to see if they can continue to make it work in the face of adversity. Storm already dropped incredibly low, had to back up, get a substantial amount of healing, but that pull! Oh no, it was a boop actually from Vincino, coming out of nowhere, taking the Orisa out of the fight, and that's just going to be the go button here. Everybody else charging forward. Not sure if they're going to be able to get any other secure picks just yet, but that will be now one on to Astral here. The Cassidy trying to deter them, but it seems like the Cassidy's doing it in vain before their own life is claimed. That'll be the first cap again going the way of the client.
Yeah, I mean, huge kill onto Tommy. You can't really find a bigger pick. There's no other way to describe it. Now, bad Catlients in position already, trying to break this choke, especially with those Carnages to blend up the choke is going to make it so hard for Tesla to get through. Especially, again, with only that Kiri heals.
Incredibly difficult here as now Tesla trying to set up, figuring out how they want to approach this, and it's going to be Tommy Knight walking in incredibly alone here, having to hold that block on Ramattra, trying to stay alive as long as they can, but that health bar is dropping. The pressure is there to remove that Ramattra from the fight once again. That's what happens when you split too far from your team. Now Genji incredibly low, having to try to get out, but it's actually Chris, the next one to fall here, as the rest of Tesla is chased back to spawn.
Another great successful fight. This time the main advantage is Tesla have been able to finally charge ults at a semi-reasonable time, right? We're not only seeing ultimates in the final fight, which can allow them to actually take some sort of trade. See what they elect to do here, but very likely just a road through and then see what ultimates come online next, kind of snowball them and see what you can do. Back Alliance ideally do want to go first here, but doesn't look like they're set up for it, so we'll just be playing to receive.
Yeah, I mean, but that being said, they are just going forward with this Kitsune Rush. Now, both of them have been used. Astral will find the first one onto Vincino. A Lucio duel going their favor. And finally, some point pressure might be a good thing. A beautiful shield attempted to save Chris's life, but unfortunately, it was done in vain. Now, a sound barrier being committed. It seems like Tesla knows that this is the fight that they have to win, so they're throwing everything in the kitchen sink into it to make it work. A Bob is all that is left for the defense here as they finally get a cap, but Fleek Death is not done yet, removing the Kiriko from the fight. The Lucio so incredibly low. The Ashes now claim the entire backline. The Ramattra not long for this world, and just like that, the Bad Cats are back at it again on the objective.
Yeah, cap goes the way of Tesla for 25% at max, but Bad Cat Lions, they're the ones who get to hold on for longer. Remember, if they'd had control for the entire time, we would be seeing a map number 2 already, but Bad Cat Lions will have one more fight to close out. Storm, though, with this rampage, could be absolutely brutal, could put an end to Tesla's attempts at Nepal.
It's going to be crucial where this cleansing Suzu comes from for Scarlet, but it seems like it's not going to be there in time as the whole team gets anteed up. Beautiful rampage from Storm. The follow-up is there from Meow. Every member has fallen. The team kill will ring out as they secure the first map.
And I didn't know that they broke a sweat realistically doing it, both on the Queen and on the Ramattra in previous. Then it was just the Meow show, especially map number 1. Storm led it up a little bit towards number 2. I think we can see that final rampage here. Indeed, just hits 4 members. Kiriko's simply not back. The other members are simply dead, to put it cleanly. And because of that, yeah, it wasn't quite 200 to 0, but it was 200 to 23. And I'm going to be real, that number rounds down pretty quick.
Yeah, it just kind of looked like they had firm control the entire time. Tesla were struggling for answers here, having a little bit of issues playing together. There was times that people were getting isolated and it was costing them fights. I mean, so looking forward here, I feel like the best thing you can do if you're Tesla is just sort of completely mental reset. Just be like, listen, that map didn't happen. We just got to move on from it for the rest of this series here, because you can't let, dominant performances like that, shake you, because if you do, then, I mean, the series is already lost.
Yeah, we'll see if they can find something consistent. Of course, I mean, remember that earlier game, right? That was, it looked very one-sided at certain points, but the script flipped very, very quickly, so no reason for Bad Cat Lions to rest on their laurels. Tesla at any point could come back swinging, just not yet. Midtown coming up next. I would expect to see us go back over to the Ramattra there. Queen isn't bad, but you're not doing all that much damage at these longer ranges. You know, with your shotgun, with your knife, these are hard to hit consistently, so you very often will just see Ramacho. You can use that Nemesis form, of course, for the in close scenarios, and the Omnic form for the poke a little bit, so that's what I'd expect to see, but we've also had plenty of curveballs today, and so I'm not so tightly wedded to them that I'd be surprised if I saw something different.
Yeah, it's going to be very important to see, you know, how if these teams want to change anything up, if at all, like you said here. But, you know, Midtown is one of those things where you could absolutely change everything up. We've seen some very niche compositions come out of Midtown, a lot of poke and variations of that. Or, you know, a lot of teams just end up leaning towards whatever is meta at the time or whatever they're feeling the most comfortable with. So just sort of an only time will tell situation here, but I feel like Tesla, it's going to be very crucial. Obviously, you know, you want to win this map, but in terms of your mental, you need at least a good performance here just to make sure to bounce back in the series.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky. There's no two ways about it. I think in terms of what they would have to do to bounce back, I don't really have any similar words. I don't have any like compositional adaptations. I think they just have to kind of blanket figure out how they want to play against this queen, because it might not be something they've seen a lot before. I think that generally we might even have to go towards the all-encompassing kind of just play better forehead, because they're not really just getting exploited by one mistake over and over again, right? But it's like a combination of mechanical differentials, out macroing your opponent, better ult cycles coming online, just like every realistic reason you can lose a fight, right? I feel like we've seen in this series so far. And so Tesla just need to clean up some of those silly mistakes, perhaps, and see if they can get any more consistent off the back of that.
Consistency is the consistent key, some might say, but this is an unorthodox approach, to say the least here. A Lifeweaver defense. Some teams have run it to mixed levels of success, right? It just sort of depends on the positioning of the Lifeweaver, as well as, you know, it puts a lot of pressure on the other healer to maybe be more in that burst category of keeping people alive when pressure gets crazy. But it seems like the Weaver was actually just to set up that Ana.
That's interesting. See if it comes into effect. Looks like it's more towards a Brawl composition with the Mei for Tesla, more towards the Poke with the Echo and the Ashe for bad Catlients. I mean, it makes sense from the defenders. They just want to play slow, want to extend this Poke, whilst Tesla want to get in close. They got that ring to allow them to do so, but Widowfire, or Vincio, sorry, can just use their own ring to disengage.
Yeah, we will have to see the battle of speeds. Massive anti-nade comes through, and now the follow-up is attempting to be there. It forces the immortality field already out of Astral, and so Tesla already under fire here. You're seeing Storm nice and healthy despite the barrage of damage that we're trying to come through. Another massive nade. This time only connecting onto Ultimates, though, so it is going to have to be a little bit more hesitant here, but in the meantime, Storm has found the first pick, missing a lot of damage. You're seeing the rest of Tesla now stuck in the firehouse. They're getting hit from every angle, having to take refuge in that staircase, but believe it or not, that's not a safe space. The Echo can sort of come through any and all angles. Beautiful wall destruction there to make sure Storm does not get caught out. Already an Echo duplicate online here, and they're choosing to commit into this with not one, but two Ramatras now chasing up the staircase here, simply waiting for that annihilation to be activated. But actually, in response, Astral is going to be able to activate the amplification matrix in here. Caught in the stairwell means that Meow will not be long for this world here. Now 4v4 situation, as Chris was still caught outside. Storm has this annihilation going in with a nano boost as well now. It has to make sure to not be frozen up, staying alive here for the time being, waiting for that immortality field to drop. Tesla is doing an amazing job of staying inside this building and staying healthy, but they're not able to escape it right now. They have to get one of these tools online to do it. It seems like it's going to be the go button with their own annihilation, as well as a Blizzard combo here, trying to burn down Storm. There's so much healing coming through, though, keeping the Ramatra alive, and now the Mei will be the one falling victim here, and it seems like the defense is finally starting to get it together. It's going to be member after member falling, and after 2 minutes burnt off the clock, Tesla comes up with nothing.
That was so long, right? They were really confident that they could stay alive and find some work once Scales had Mega Room, right? But being down one, I mean, bad Catlients don't really feel any threat from them. They just box them in, keep kind of kettling them almost, and Tesla couldn't really go anywhere but collapse, unfortunately. It's a heavy investment as well, but great ult rotations from bad Catlients mean that there's no advantage for them even there. There is the Ram bug going on, so it looks like a bit of a goofy goober right now, but bad Catlients coming up to their DPS ults look to be a little bit more threatening than that as soon as the action commences once again.
We will have to see as now, another anti-nade applied, and that immortality field is not going to last long enough with a Bob helping out. So now we are already seeing this fight crumbling for Tesla as their last 3 members are getting staggered out here in the back alleys of Midtown. And yeah, I mean, just brutal right now.
No, it's incredible value coming through. I mean, only using that Bob as well is so efficient. Gives you enough time to charge back into your Annihilation and your Nano Boost. Bad Catlients right now, I mean, everything is going in their favor. Looking to make it a clean 2-0 here, unless Tesla have anything to say. Last attempt, they can play for their support ults, and, you know, a double support ult at Overclock could be absolutely huge. You go for a plan where they late swing their Sojourn High Ground, for example, but instead just commit down main.
Yeah, committing down main. Now the Annihilation out from Storm here. Didn't wait for any one particular thing, but Vincino actually be the first one to fall thanks to a railgun. And Chris, through the amplification mixers, has done the damage. Just has the opening that Tesla needs, even though he will ultimately give up his life for it here. But it seems like unless there's a last-second recontest, that point A is unlocked.
And there should not be no recontest. Ram's too far, and so it's a timeout extension for Tesla. They get their kills in the absolute last second, and thankfully they only have to spend their smallest ultimate, the amplification matrix, to do so. Bad Catlients would feel a little bit hard done even by that fight, but they've got to start work on the new time bank now. Just over 2.5 minutes for Tesla to play with.
And we will have to see how this defense and offense both choose to set up here. But Fleek Death already able to remove Chris. Some beautiful shots on this Ashe, and now that is going to be the go button for the defense, getting aggressive here on the fire truck. Potentially not ready for it. Tesla is a little bit scattered in their retreat, but they make their retreat all the same.
That's still time, though, off the bank. It's still a Bad Catlients who will have control of the choke once again, and remember, they're playing a pokey comp here. They want to play these longer sight lines. They want to play these kind of high grounds. They want to play these spots where it's really hard for Tesla to dislodge them. So they're not too upset about this setup. All they have to do is sit back and spam in.
Spam in indeed here. Now the orbital ray is being traded here, but it will be the overclock. Chris able to get one back and make it 2 for the Sojourn here. Now looking for the third, the Echo in the sky, but Meow is actually going to be able to find one, removing some heals from the backline here, but it seems like Tesla has got a firm control of this fight, leaving only the 2 up top.
Yeah, that's enough for Tesla. No time back extension, of course, but more than enough extra damage. Bob will stop Tommy for a second, but that Ram will be traded, actually, by the focusing beam. They were overextended here, and because of it, what could have been a cap fully has become a full stop. Minute left on the time bank. Realistically, that's enough time for maybe one more push. Chris goes over to the Widowmaker, a desperation pick to see if a head can be removed, but you have no real abilities of winning this fight out in the neutral, bar a sniper headshot at this point. It's going to be Window going to be going up against that duplication. And I gotta say, out of the two of them, I'd much rather have the dupe. 9 times out of 10, head presented, but the noggin not clicked. Chris missing some shots, and with this, it's just Bad Catlients getting closer and closer to a victory.
Yeah, we're looking in these final moments here before overtime gets triggered, and you're seeing the duplicate come in on top of the entire team. No immortality field to speak of, no support for Tesla here. Simply a Ramatra struggling against fate, against destiny, if you will, as Bad Catlients will stop the payload right there on point B.
A lot more distance than I think anyone realistically expected. I predicted a full hold, but in the end, 100 meters through second point is a very respectable amount of progress here for Tesla. The question is, however, is it respectable enough to actually hold off their opposition? Because remember, Bad Catlients are still undefeated. They've been borderline perfect all throughout this season, and they, in theory, want to continue all the way through to the end. That's a lot of pressure to be going up against. It's a lot of firepower as well. I'm not quite sure Tesla have the propensity to extinguish, but they've got to try, of course. So 100 meters, 51 centimeters is where the buck is going to stop now, on Tesla's turn for this defense. This is very strange.
I mean, it currently, based off of the fact that we don't have two people who haven't picked, they've been swapping around. There was a Roadhog for a moment. This might be showing some signs of indecisiveness from Tesla here, and I kind of worry about that. Meanwhile, I do not think the Junkrat is leaving the spawn room, but if it does, what do you think the mental damage would be?
Firstly, heavy. Secondly, Junkrat actually does 1 infinity damage to the front line. The hero has a ridiculous amount of DPS that's incredibly hard to deal with, actually, if you're not expecting it. So, Tommy is going to be under a hell of a lot of pressure. We'll hope that Scarlet Snow has enough healing in her arsenal to actually keep him up. Have to wait and see, though. Yeah, Echo is like Junkrat, but can fly and can escape and has a better ultimate, and is kind of just a better hero, realistically.
Better in every metric here, but that's just better. Chris finally hits a headshot on Widowmaker, and it couldn't have come at a better time here. That's a good way to start your defense. Now, simply just waiting for that Ram Shield to break before another peek comes through here, but it seems like the attackers are just going to wait for the time being.
Yep, all they have to do is wait for Widow to come back, and she elects Valkyrie rather than the Baptiste. Again, more angles, again, a bit more survivability, more dueling potential as well into that Echo. What a push, though.
Beautiful push here. The Ramattra coming in with that Nemesis form, able to get those punches in to remove the Echo from the equation before any healing can come through. Now it's a similar situation, right? You're seeing the entirety of the Catlients caught in the alleyway here. They're having to burst their way over to the firehouse. So much time here burnt on our first round that it could be similar. Oh, the Widow's finally finds what they're looking for, removing the Juno from the fight. Now it's just 3 members, make it 2 stuck in the firehouse, but Storm actually coming up massively here, able to trade it back. So now we're in a 3v3 situation. If these attackers are able to live in the firehouse much longer, then it could be presenting a serious problem. You see Storm charging forward into a Symmetra beam, though, as Chris is now hitting shots as well. It's 2 Echo back and forth here. These DPS war. Chris for the 4. This is the Widowmaker you needed, Tesla.
That is ridiculous. Absolutely crazy. From Chris 4807, 4 dinks found to stabilize there. The hero that Tesla sorely needed. And Bad Catlients now left to pick up the pieces. They've been smacked, honestly. Woolhack's already up and Chris is looking for more.
Absolutely looking for more, and I think Bad Catlients have to respect this. They cannot take this Widowmaker for granted anymore. Now it looks like they're going to try to path in. They have an Annihilation. Storm's been liking to get aggressive with these, but that's a amazing Symmetra wall there, while the Sim will ultimately pay their life for it here. Annihilation is being traded back and forth, and it seems like Tommy is unfortunately getting the worst end of it right now. There's only so much you can do in that small room, realizing it was inevitable before they would perish.
Well.
Oh, yeah, so now Storm has all the picks. The Widowmaker is missing, and it seems like this payload's going to finally start rolling.
Harder than Bad Catlients expected, very likely, but they'll get the payload moving, as you said, all the same. Widow Duel likely going to continue. If Fleets can just contest, Chris, that should be enough. They're contesting. That's kind of what you expect to happen, though. Astral dies, and that's a feed. I'm sorry to say, that's a feed. Your team is now 4v5. If Bad Catlients want, they can try and push for aggressive map positioning, and you can't really guard against it because you just don't have the numbers for it.
Exactly, you're going to be missing these numbers, and it's going to be absolutely awful for your defensive positioning. Like, already they're back at the bridge, no forward fight in motion here, as now you're seeing the Widows just sort of wait for their angles, ready to peek. How did the Ramattra get up there? A Sim teleporter is the answer, and Chris comes through the teleporter, delivers a headshot right when it needed to be. Now an Annihilation. This is going to be a duplicate after the Widow has already claimed one. Very interesting play to make here. Meow so incredibly low. Has to try to get some damage into or get healed up by the rest of the squad here. Kiriko's down on both sides now as this payload has stalled for the time being as this war is being fought. But it seems like Tesla is slowly starting to win it. But then again, Storm is able to do any and everything here. Storm, it feels like it's just one man armying while the rest of the team dies to a Widowmaker. It's absolutely ridiculous what this Ramattra has been capable of. Now it's just a duel in the subway, but it seems like reinforcements are starting to arrive for the Bad Cats. So Tesla, under pressure, is going to have to run back, but they're going to have to start getting onto this payload so incredibly close, having to be careful. Fleek Death now has gotten a pick on the Ashe. The Ashe simply just a better pick here, more consistent damage, more reliable than the Widowmaker's headshots, but Chris is going to have to be that reliable source right now if this defense wants a chance, and they can't do it. Fleek Death with the dynamite, beautifully placed. Now Annihilation's being traded, but again, it feels like Storm's getting the better of it, able to take out their opponent, and it seems like the defense is dwindling, and it's only an inevitable before Bad Cats takes Midtown.
Yeah, heroic effort from Chris to make it competitive, but Bad Catlients have been winning this game out for a reason, and one player can't stop the entirety of them. We've said it before, we'll say it again, but one finger don't make a hand, and you need the full five, and that's what Catlients have. Unfortunately, that's what Tesla don't. I mean, a highlight play for Chris to flex on Twitter, YouTube, whatever, but unfortunately just doesn't make it enough. 2-0 so far. Bad Catlients showing why they're undefeated.
They're looking strong. Tesla having their moments, but unfortunately one moment is not enough in a map. You gotta string them together a little bit better than that. And, you know, maybe sometimes it's just sort of a bit of a, you know, mental difference that needs to occur, but luckily they will get that time to sort of rest and relax, try to get everything together on their side of things here. So as we throw it to a quick break, make sure to stick around because you're not going to want to miss the back half of this series. Alrighty, welcome on back. In case you missed what was happening in the first half of this series, Bad Catlients were putting on a show. Pretty dominant 2-0 coming out from them here, and Tesla now find themselves in need of a reverse sweep to keep this series alive.
Plenty of pressure on their shoulders. Thankfully, we saw a spark of life coming from their side in the form of some fantastic winner performances. Throne of Anubis, though, not really the map for it, so we'll have to see if that hit scan performance is replicable on maybe a Cassie, maybe a Sojourn, something that enjoys these shorter sight lanes a smidgen more. I believe we've got a substitution, if I'm not mistaken. Just take a gander at that to judge whether it's going to affect too much on the side of Bad Catlients. Bacteria going to be coming in to play in place of the previous hit scan player. Implies maybe a double FDPS setup on a map as short ranged as Throne of Anubis, especially on that point C. I definitely see the vision for it.
Yeah, I see the vision. It's one of those things where on the other side of things, Chris playing hit scan, you know, if you're going to continue that hit scan angle, right, it's more than likely going to have to be a Cassidy just to sort of make sure these flex DPS aren't running amok across your team, even though you'd probably prefer something like the Ashe. It's just more comfortable in the moment here, but we'll have to see how exactly this shakes things up. But like you said, heading into Clash, it's very short range, very quick and momentum based here, so it's going to be very crucial for both these teams to sort of not let it slip away from them.
So it could very quickly be us looking at a 2-1 series. Also, could very quickly be looking Bad Catlients to get a win. I think there's very little chance of the CGL record now being smashed. I think we've seen enough clashes that people have kind of figured it out. You know, when it was new, we were constantly seeing that that category get pushed. I think we're stuck now at 2 minutes 9 seconds. And honestly, especially if there is, again, a hit scan performance coming out, then I think it's going to be competitive no matter what, right? I mean, Bad Catlients have been getting the best of these macro fights, but Tesla have been hanging in there, as it were. So Chris, still plenty of pressure on his shoulders to continue to frag, but Tesla have a decent chance here. See what comps they're running out on. And I'm going to wait to pass judgment until like 5 seconds. I know there's running out on it for sure.
No, surely the Zarya Reaper is going to win.
Zarya Mercy, guys. This is meta, we promise.
2022, right? Didn't Dallas win a chip off this or something?
I don't want a Mercy, no.
Listen,
okay.
It's Pink Mercy. It's allowed to be there.
That's a... No, it's not. You're just lying to me. Okay, comps are in. We've got to pause instantly. Well, we have plenty of time now to talk about comps. Automix isn't here, which seems to be apparently why we're pausing. Queen Moira. Interesting. I normally see the Kiriko come out for the added utility, the power of the ult, but your Moira gives you a little bit more brawl power, a little bit more healing. It's a little bit easier to stay in for a little bit longer. In exchange, you don't have that cleanse for that burst damage, for that CC, what have you. But other than that, it's just every single time you see Moira, it could kind of be Kiriko. DPS, the Venture, Meow, gonna TP out and go, I assume, Trey or Genji. Yeah, it's close range, it's burst damage. They want to just run over the front line in these extended fights. Bad Catlients are going to struggle. Tesla with this Reaper Genji wants to do similar things, but they don't mind playing a little bit slower. That's Zarya, a bit more survivable. And with the added healing throughput of the Juno Ana, they've got some stronger ults to boot.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see with this Zarya and play exactly where these bubbles end up going. You're seeing Bad Catlients so get really aggressive already inside, removing Chris from the equation, and it's just going to be the rest of the team down to an axe swing. Zarya, the last one standing here, and Bad Catlients actually has to go back to get the point. They just won too quickly.
Oh, that's crazy. Just ran over them. Storm finds a lightning quick kill onto Reaper. I mean, Chris can't really find that same level of mechanical dominance on a hero who doesn't really have that same level of mechanics, right? So, curious choice, locking him in a Reaper jail here. They try and fight early, but they're not going to find too much whatsoever. Bad Catlients should be able to reach the point, largely uncontested. But what more can they actually do? In fact, they're going to have to back up, run high.
Yeah, and now pathing over to the high ground is going to be what they're looking for. Nice bubble onto the Pharah to keep her alive, as well as a nade removing Vincino. Storm incredibly low here, as well as no healers alive to really help that Junker Queen. It's going to be your own lifesteal if you're getting any HP back in this moment here, but it seems like it's just going to be a sound retreat for Bad Catlients, willing to fight point C again.
I mean, Pharah here is literally untouchable. Nobody can even interact with ultimates right now, so it's super easy for them just to blimp over, essentially, and deal about a bajillion damage with those rockets. So very easy in the second fight, in that refight for Tesla to bring us back to parity here, but see if it's going to change anything on point C, because last time it was a lightning fast storm pick to open up proceedings.
Yeah, we'll have to see now. Potentially, it could be Tesla getting a proper shake of things here, bubbling the Reaper. That way they don't fall under too much pressure here. Still going to end up using that Wraith form, but it is the Coalescence actually coming out here that's going to help with some extra damage to remove Tommy Knight. And again, Tesla find themselves shorthanded on this point C. But it seems like the entirety of Catlients is so focused on pushing forward, looking for more kills, that now, only now, do they get somebody over towards the objective.
Indeed. But they have managed to get the kills, which is what really matters in this game. Cap should come through. They got that Rampage online, of course. No Kiri and no Lucia means that there's no countermeasures, really. I mean, Tesla can cleanse 2 people with bubbles. Chris can use a 3rd. They're going to recontest, though. This is bold.
Yeah, and now with the Death Blossom committed as well here, very bold indeed, doesn't end up coming away with anything, while the Rampage will, removing the Juno, alright, after the Orbital Ray is cast, so that source of healing just going to be all that is left in memory here. The Tectonic Shock trying to come from the ceiling, it seems. This might be a WWE ladder match where that Juno was trying to play, but all said and done, bad Catlients, they finally get this point C back.
So the thing about earthquakes is that they happen on the earth, i.e. the ground, so when you try them in the air, it doesn't do the same. Ultimate, it's a bold barrage, and will find himself boldly dead pretty quick. Bacteria to find that kill. Bad Catlients now defensive setup on D, looking to extend their lead, the blade to do it with. Tesla should be able to touch, and they have a Graven and Nano to do so with, but that map control might be too much for them to overcome. They really don't want to cap down.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Catlients is having an issue more so with the objective than their opposition, but this Graviton will be massive here. They've already been, removed from the fight here. Beautiful anti-nade is going to be able to be applied here. Bacteria does get 1, but that's all they're going to get for their troubles here, and it seems like unless there's a last-second touch, Bacteria should be able to stall it, actually.
Yeah, no, it was a great recontest. Oh, what a clear onto the Venture. They don't have a chance. Just 2 people wide swinging, can't even get into the ground after that burrow. That's fantastic work there. Don't stop that recontest coming through. So, coming back onto point C again. I love point C simulator, guys. Moira Blade allows Bad Catlients to go aggressive. You really want to as well, so this Nano Boost doesn't get a chance to get properly set up.
Exactly, that's what they're going to be looking for. Meanwhile,
oh, nice.
The beautiful deflect into a dash, and now the Genji is going to work here. That's 2, make it a 3rd. Oh, the Zarya is Nano trying to stay alive, at least get that kill, but it seems like that's all they're going to get for their troubles here. The Venture Mirror not looking great for Chris, as again, point C will belong to Bad Catlients.
This feels almost like some sort of strange deja vu, right? I mean, we've seen Bad Catlients cap point C 3 times. Tesla cap point D twice. Their recontest again will fail to be committed to. And we're back to this choke fight.
Back to the choke, but Chris managed to get 1 onto Meow. So now it is just going to be a little bit more difficult. The burrow coming up at the wrong time, but maybe it was right, as now Chris is going forward with the Tectonic Shock. This fight happening entirely on point C, despite the objective that they need to capture is directly behind them. So this could be time for Catlients to get back into it.
They're capping D again. This is exceedingly stupid. Tesla have more than enough ults to defend this. A touch could come through from the side of Bad Catlients, but it would be somewhat late. But they've got the Pharah spam. They're going to have to eat. Storm already down to half HP. Vincio beat could be the health needed. He AJs!
It's Ajax by simply just some rocket damage here. No support seen here. And the Orbital Ray actually being invested when you've already killed the other team's supports is a questionable play. But, I mean, I guess do what you gotta do, Tesla.
Storm being 90% on this Rampage implies to me that point C is in fact going to go in the favor of Bad Catlients for a 4th time here. We'll see if Ultimates can change things up with a flank barrage, but getting spotted out, yeah, no chance at all. We'll be able to live on a sliver of HP.
That quick reaction time from Meow, not quick enough, and Storm will find one of the Tommy Knight here. Now that barrage ends up coming away with nothing once again here. Juno under pressure, and it seems like the entire team is evaporated. And hey, Spec, we heard you liked point C and D, so we're going right back to D.
I'm gonna become the Joker. The thing is, though, I'm struggling to see how Bad Catlients could possibly lose this next fight, right? Because they didn't really spend anything to get this one. They've got this Rampage coming through. Again, Rampage is super, super strong, especially unmirrored, so I would expect that to be 1 conversion. The DPS ults on top of that, just icing on the cake, realistically. So bad Catlients surely in a position to finally take point D.
Surely indeed, but never count Tesla out. The magic they can work when their back's against the wall, as it is right now. The series on the line here, just simply waiting and lurking, seeing where this positioning can come from. Bacteria wants to get in there, but the point pressure is already being applied by Tesla, and it's going to have to now be a contest from bad Catlions. That rampage comes through just as you said, but the Suzu is there, getting it off of everybody, but it does not matter. There's raw damage coming through thanks to the tectonic shock. Tommy is able to rampage back, get a beautiful anti-out, remove Storm from the fight. This Kiriko under pressure, able to swift step away, and now it's a back and forth on the point. This Junker Queen might be the last standing member, having to try to deliver a performance that the rest of the team can live up to. It is still a brawl happening back and forth here, but it seems like Tesla, they've barely squeaked it out. Bad Catlions, though, they might be ready to re-engage. They're pulling the blade out. It's going to be able to remove the Pharah. Now Vincino gets their counterpart done with. That point is ticking backwards. The orbital ray boosting the blade even further, as it's just being stalled now by Chris, who pops a tectonic shock.
And finds nothing. You had to pop it, right? This is the last fight. Bad Catlients, if they can stop a touch, they will be taking the series, but a touch but looks to come through. This point cap is just so slow.
It's not fast enough here, but the Coalescence is going to help them win the next fight, even in spite of the Kitsune Rush. That's 2 for the Moira. You don't see it a lot anymore, but it does what it needs to here. Widowfire cleans it up, and that'll be bad Catlions extending themselves to 7-0 in the regular season.
It's hard to argue with 7-0, isn't it, Negalas? That's a pretty crazy amount of work put out by them. And unfortunately for their opposition, though they played their closest map yet, only being able to cap point D simply isn't enough to convert Clash in this day and age. They take it to 5-3, and okay, this play was a bit crazy. I thought it was on track for a 4th as well after that, but not to be. Instead, it's going to be a 3-0 here for Bad Catlions. The regular season record now, I believe, 24-0.
Yeah, and so having that record behind them now, you know, ultimately it's just going to be, you know, sort of one of those things where you start to wonder how it's going, how it could have been, and things like that. Tesla, you know, hopefully the last match will be a good one, but it is more than likely the last match. But hey, look on the other bright side of things. We get to interview Bad Catlions, aka formerly Queen's Gambit. You know, they're always fun to chat with. It's always going to be fun hearing what they have to say about their victory. So if you'll give us just a little bit of a moment to get that all set up, we'll be right back with it. Alrighty, our specimens have been selected. We have both Storm and Weo here representing the Bad Catlients. Gonna go ahead and say it. How are y'all doing to start?
I'm good. I'm good. What about you, Storm?
I am absolutely bouncing. First match in CGL, and we come out quite strong as a team, especially as we were so coordinated and we spoke so much. It really spoke, and it really gave us some power.
Yeah, absolutely. Storm, you talked about it. Joining this team a little bit new, a little bit later into the season here, but you definitely weren't living up to expectations. Do you feel like there was a lot of pressure on you specifically, or do you feel like your team just eased you into it?
Coming into this, I was nervous, and I think the team could definitely tell. But with these people behind my back, I was not worried one bit.
Okay, fair enough. I like it. I respect it. I mean, my question, I suppose, is more to Weo then. Obviously, you guys are 7-0 in the regular season. How do you feel about that? And do you think there's any chance that you're going to have a blemish on your record before you head into that postseason?
We've actually after the 07 game, we've actually been practicing a lot really hard. We've made adjustments to the team, obviously with Storm, and I think we can take it. I might lose a map or two, but I think we can take them.
Okay, I respect the confidence. I like to hear that. Then my second question to you is probably going to be, obviously you guys were pretty dominant throughout most of that series. The only roadblock you really had was when their Widow started heating up on Midtown. How did that feel to maybe play against, and what kind of adjustments did you make to deal with that a little bit better?
We didn't really feel it at first, but after the 4K, we kind of was a bit more cautious. But luckily, she didn't pop off as much after that one. We just we tried to kill that team first.
That'll do it.
The team first, and she can't really do anything no matter how many kills she gets. So I think that's the right play there.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes more than enough sense. You touched on it a little bit there, but your only sort of blemish on the season being that mid-season loss to 07. You just, maybe try to stir up a little bit of the spice, if you will. Is there anything you want to declare at 07? Maybe something you want to say to them directly if you could right now?
I would rather not, because last time it didn't go so well. I've learned my lesson. I think we're probably the best PC team in this tournament. So
that's what I want to hear.
Yeah, we're the best PC team anyway.
Okay. You know what? Respect the willing to be humble, learning the lesson. I gotta, commend you for that. Well, but that's all for our questions. If you guys, if you would like to make any shout outs, declare, say anything, this is your floor to do so.
I'll let Tom go first.
Just big ups to the team, and shout out to my man Exo for kind of helping me get back into Overwatch and get me here.
Nice.
And shout out to Sonny, my beautiful boyfriend. Boyfriend buff. Not it really.
The boyfriend buff is real. Well, we'll go ahead and let y'all celebrate. It is getting later over there in EU, so maybe celebrate, then hit the hay for a lovely Monday tomorrow. And again, congrats on the victory.
Thank you.
Alrighty, Spec. So, just another match, another EU game done here. We're almost done with week 7. Today's the last day of it.
Yeah, it feels like this season of CGL is just flown past, to be honest. We're almost done, which is kind of strange to think about. Of course, one more week left. I think that's going to be one of the most interesting ones to watch as well. And then what I personally love most, Staff Week. That's going to be really fun. I hope we bring Staff Pugs back, because last time my ego ran off of that for about 2 months. This time, we'll see if I can manage 3.
Yeah. I'm ready for Staff Pugs purely. I think I need to be the one to humble your ego. Maybe it's a little too big. I got some trophies under my belt. I've got some trophies under my belt now. I'm feeling a little more confident. We'll see how that all shakes out. But of course, that is going to be the end for us here. I believe we have an NA game later tonight for more CGL action at 8 p.m. EST, which, by the way, everybody, your clock's set back. Hopefully y'all adjusted to the time change, because I certainly didn't. I'm tired. But it's been lovely, of course, having you by my side, Spec. We've had Headrammer doing everything behind the scenes on this match, and it's absolutely lovely. CGL, we're all a great team here. But that is all for us right now. We will see you all for the next stream. That's the part where you. There you go.